Hello and welcome to the What's Going On podcast with Grooveschool at 3 Space at International House. And tonight our lovely guest is Josie from Breadwinners. Hello Josie.
Hi Tahlee, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming this evening. So for anyone meeting you for the first time, tell us a little bit about yourself and who are you and what does your organisation do?
Great, so I'm Josie. It's such a big question, that one.
Break it down into bits.
Okay, into bits. I do a couple of things. So I work at a refugee charity called Breadwinners, which is in the building of 3 Space, and it does the incredible work of giving 16 to 25-year-old asylum seekers and refugees mentoring work experience and training in the UK to help them integrate here, find community, and start to work towards their lives here, what that could look like. I do that with them, and then before my life in the charity sector, I worked in film and photography on various projects in so many different departments, on independent features to a Steven Spielberg series kind of thing. So then when I came into the charity sector, it's a long journey of me finding my place here, but basically, it's a long story. I'm not going to say all of that.
Well, we'd like to know your journey into this work. That's definitely one of our questions, in fact. So
okay,
I can kind
great.
of segue that in there and say, so how did you end up getting into Breadwinners? What was your journey there?
That's perfect. So I started off, like I said, working in film on all different kinds of sets, because I did a degree in Greenwich in film. So naturally went into that. And in that work, I became quite disillusioned with... sometimes you're working on projects that you really don't agree with. And I remember the last project I was working on was a World War II series. And then the war in Ukraine broke out, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And I remember feeling really quite sick that I'd just been working on an American war series. And I was like,
the ethical kind of juxtaposition there.
Absolutely. So then I wanted to try and find my way into something that was much more aligned with my values. And then it was COVID. So although that was an awful event for so many reasons, one thing that it kind of backwardsly gave me was time and the chance to step off this rat race of film. So
the hamster wheel of the never-ending fast.
Literally trying to be a director, thinking you can't do anything else because there's no time for it. And so one thing I'd always wanted to do was humanitarian aid work. And what I learned whilst I was in COVID was that you could actually still travel abroad to do that.
Right.
Yeah, there was a chance you get turned back at the border.
Excuse me.
Absolutely. But you could go and do that. So basically, I was like, right, it's my chance to get involved in that. So I went to Calais and did work there with an incredible organisation called Care for Calais. Who works at the border providing essential aid to people in the unauthorised camps there.
Right.
And this was post-jungle and things like that.
Right.
And when I was there, I just had something that film used to give me, which was this fire in my belly for something that I felt really passionately about. And I remember thinking, I cannot believe the world keeps turning and this stuff goes on. And I'm reminded...
Sense of injustice
and the complete injustice of people having lives that are unbearable, lives that we can think about because of just where you're born. And I think about it now.
It's a lottery.
It's a complete lottery, and it still baffles me, like when I learn about Sudan and Congo and Gaza, and you're just like, how are we still turning our lives over here when all of that is going on? So I just remember feeling very fired up by that work. And so when I got back from that experience, I basically was like, right, that's what I want to go into now. So I started looking for jobs. This was in almost like 2022 at this point. And I landed a role at Breadwinners, which was incredible. And this was like my first paid job in this sector. And then through Breadwinners, I came into the building of 3 Space. And I don't know how much you've covered on that building in this podcast, but...
Oh, we touch on it.
But it's an incredible building. Where basically there's so many, because there's a floor where charities can should I say this stuff?
Yes, absolutely.
Because there's a floor where the other organisations in the building cover the costs of, it's like a buy one, give one model. So other floors will pay.
Buy, work, give model.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a buy, work, give model. I've just been informed. So some floors and businesses will pay for their space, and that goes towards...
It offsets.
Thank you. It offsets a floor where you can then have free space on that floor if you are a non-for-profit and you're doing good for Lambeth or Brixton or the community.
Beautifully summarised.
Thank you. So what you get as a result of that is this really special concoction of organisations and entrepreneurs who are startups who care about the good of society. And so within that, you naturally get a lot of those organisations being creative as well as political. And so what I landed in was a community where suddenly, because Photo Fusion was in this building at the time as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was this opportunity to like reignite my creative side my sort of more activist side.
Right.
So I was on 6th floor, and then this incredible woman called Anahita, who runs something called Community Arts Box.
Right.
She was putting on an exhibition in the department store in Brixton. And yeah, I remember bumping into her, and it was an exhibition of people with lived experience, so asylum seekers or refugees, their artwork. And I remember just having a really engaging conversation with her and being like, I'm actually a photographer, so I'd love to take some portraits for this exhibition and exhibit them. And that was the first time my work aligned with my film and creative side, along with my what I wanted to put into the world side. So that was really, that was the beginning of it, really. Yeah, and then I've managed to continue that type of work with Breadwinners.
Amazing. Well, that's a beautifully succinct way of putting how you got here, but also managing to touch on the benefits of connecting with other organisations as well.
Yeah, invaluable.
Because Three Space does have a huge number of refugee organisations and other charity-based organisations that do network and connect here. So I think that's obviously something we can all draw from. So in terms of Breadwinners, what drives you now? What's at the heart of your mission, and what are you actually working to create through Breadwinners?
Gosh, yeah. I'd say the heart of my mission, it's all about people perceiving other people who don't look like them as equals. Mm-hmm. That's sort of like what drives me. I do have a North Star, and it's like, it sounds really cheesy, and I don't know how else to say it, but in my head it's that everybody in the global North would view everybody in the global South as like just brothers and sisters, just equal, just equal in human beings, and have the same kind of care. And so all the work I do just is a path that leads towards that,
absolutely.
Yeah. And so yeah, at Breadwinners we managed 2 years ago, basically we do something every year called our PAR, our Participatory Action Research Project.
Right.
And it's when we get members of our community, we employ a handful of them, 20 to 30, to research and call back our past participants,
right,
mentors, young people, everyone, and we ask them how they want us to, what improvements and changes they want to see.
So it's feedback on the programme.
It's feedback, and then we use that to adapt and change, basically. And in 2024, they basically wanted us to advocate for refugees and asylum seekers, because that's traditionally not something we do at Breadwinners.
Okay.
And that is for that was a strategic reason, because basically at Breadwinners, one of our ethoses is that we are a positive space in the sector.
Yes.
Because there's so many amazing charities in the refugee space that are working on, say, like the bottom couple of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Mm-hmm. So for anybody that doesn't know, it's a triangle by a guy called Maslow. Mm-hmm. And on the bottom rungs are things like food, water, shelter, basic conditions for human life, in terms of that's the first thing you need. And then when you get to level 5, it's self-actualization or self-realization. Mm. And basically that's what we want to focus on more at Breadwinners. So we're also a positive energy in the space, because there's a lower barrier of entry then for mentors and people to join us who maybe maybe find it hard to be in some of those other spaces that are a bit more difficult, but then it's like a gateway to like to start engaging with the sector. So basically we hadn't done advocacy because so many organisations do that important advocacy of the really hard stuff,
right?
And so that was never really part of our plan. But then when our cohort asked us to do that, we were like,
see the benefits.
Absolutely. And then we were like, okay, how do we do that in our own way? Like, how do we do that while staying really positive in the sector, and do it in a way where people are being welcomed and invited to join something fun with other humans, rather than something that there's a lot of research we do on like positive storytelling and the impact that has, and how it can be much more powerful for change than like sad storytelling, that
Absolutely.
kind of thing. So so then basically this Martin basically assigned this to me because of my background in the creative work that I'd done. And so
Martin's your CEO?
Martin is the CEO of Breadwinners, and basically we created what is this, we call it the Creative Advocacy Project. That's what its name is as a programme, but what it manifests in is an audiovisual exhibition that's called Hey Salam Ola Bouquet, which is how you say hey from in the mother tongues of our first round of participants that were on that project. And basically what it realises in is portraiture photography that is co-created with the co-creators in that project. So basically
empowerment for them.
Empowerment, like they, we're learning everything from them to create these images. So what clothes make you feel powerful, what places in London either connect you to your London culture or your home culture, or mean something to you, and then so they're creating these like images with us, and it's a mixture of their home and London culture in one image. It's a vision of how they want to be seen and who they are,
right?
And it's all about, stories are so important, and I think that stories almost are culture. Like I kind of think that culture is the stories that hold a society together, and who gets to tell those stories, who gets to be believed when they're telling those stories. And so the more that we can put alternative stories, we're always seeing negative stories of asylum seekers and refugees in the news, and words like swarms and all this kind of stuff.
Changing the language, changing the narrative, changing the view.
Absolutely. So not looking at them in mass numbers, looking at them as individuals, because of course they are. And celebrating the joy within them and all that, they've obviously...
Celebrating the differences.
Celebrating our differences and our similarities, and our many similarities as well.
Yeah.
So in the stories that we have as part of this exhibition, we're not looking, like, you can listen to the stories online, and maybe there'll be a link below, I don't know. But basically it's stories from their life, and it's not focusing on the fact that they have all had this like really difficult ending of some kind. It's actually just about other parts of their life that bring them joy. Like you can listen and hear, but it's just learning about another human, basically.
Sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Well, that's a great way to discuss and expand the concept of community as well, and how people connect in community and relate to community. And obviously with Breadwinners, what you're offering the community is a chance for the wider community to connect, isn't it, really?
Absolutely.
So I was going to ask you something that you're proud of for doing, but I imagine this is one of those projects that gives you a great sense of joy and satisfaction for the way you can actually create impact and networking and reach as well.
Absolutely. Like, I'm so proud of that. But I think what I'm really proud of personally is listening to myself and my body, and sort of like creating a path or a job or a career that aligns with that. Like,
absolutely.
The project Hey Salam Ola Bouquet is almost a dream project of mine in terms of the creativity, like what we're doing to challenge negative stereotypes, like what we're doing to hopefully bring community together, or expose some people to people that maybe they walk past them in the street but they'd never have a chance to have a conversation. So having people like that, like being able to hear stories from other people, means so much to me. And like that wouldn't have come, I don't even know how that happened. Like, I just joined this charity and then things happened and this opportunity came up, but it was just because I'd decided to leave film and do this, and somehow it all aligned in this way. Yeah, so I think I'm super proud of that, because I think in a very late stage capitalist society, it's just harder and harder, you know, so many objects are in your way to stop you pursuing paths that align with you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so
to actually have the joy of doing something that you feel ethically aligned with, but also gives you creative inspiration and freedom is a gift.
Absolutely, it's such a gift. And I'm not saying it's like not hard or not stressful or it doesn't come with its own challenges, but they're definitely the challenges I would want to be facing over a job that is just completely misaligned with me and maybe pays me better, but has a really bad input into the world. And I'm not saying that, you know, sometimes we have to play that game, but
yeah,
I prefer when I don't have to do that.
I can relate wholeheartedly to that. So in terms of what's coming next, what's your vision for Breadwinners, or what's the vision that's on the board? And after that, can you tell us how people can get involved? What we would like to, if people want to reach out and connect, if they'd like to help with, say, mentoring, or if there's other projects on hand.
Absolutely.
How do we do that?
Absolutely. So Breadwinners as an organisation is growing quite a lot, like structurally. And there are probably Martin and Emily, my CEO and my COO, would be better speaking to that. But they have 3-year, 5-year visions for the charity in terms of growing numbers, possibly taking it to other cities. But the aim is maximum impact in the quality of the services we're delivering.
Not spread too thin, making sure that the quality stays and the one-on-one.
Exactly. So this is what we're doing now, is like, so now we're focusing on quality, but then once we because basically we recently expanded the number of people we reach each year, and that's been incredible. But so now what we're going to do is, before expanding on that, we're going to focus on making sure the quality is as high as it can be.
Great.
And then once we have that, so it's not diluted. And then once we have that, then we're going to try and reach more participants. So yeah, Breadwinners as an organisation, that's the plan. Strength to strength. And then in terms of Hey Slumala Bouquet, we're going to continue doing that. We want to get it. The aim is to get as many people to see it as possible. So now we really want to get it into public spaces like the South Bank Centre or Somerset House, something like this.
Wonderful.
Would be the aim. And then also when we have enough stories and we've done it enough times, maybe make it a book or something that could reach more people, hopefully. So yeah, that's some visions for the future.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
And in terms of people getting involved, Josie, if they want to connect with you, I mean, socials?
Absolutely, yeah. So our socials on Instagram, for example, our handle is We Are Breadwinners. So WEARE Breadwinners, all one word.
Right.
And you can see on there we post opportunities. There's different opportunities for, I mean, we need mentors. Every few months we're recruiting mentors. So the best way you could possibly help us is to be a mentor on our programmes.
Very rewarding.
Very rewarding. You have a lot of fun. That's one of our big pillars, is community and like people enjoying themselves, as I've mentioned. So you have a lot of fun. You get to make...
So they can drop you a DM on Instagram? Or
yeah, or the best way is actually on our website, which is breadwinners.org.uk.
Yep.
Is it?
I think it is.
Is it .co.uk?
breadwinners.org.uk. I mean, check both. Check it is. So if you Google Breadwinners, it'll come up.
Yes, that's true. And so on our website, there are the applications to mentor, like get involved with us, mentoring, and you just want to fill in that application form. And you do that, you're on our list, you're going to come to an interview, you're going to be in the system. So mentors is most valuable. Sometimes we look for trustees and roles like that appear, but you can keep on top of that via our LinkedIn and our Instagram. And, you know, we always need people who can help us with funding partnerships, or if you know anyone... Sponsorships. Anybody who have connections at galleries that could get our exhibition in somewhere would be absolutely incredible. That's public facing. So yeah, they're just a few ways that we need some...
Amazing.
Would love to engage with you.
Well, hopefully some people out there that are listening can get in touch and engage with you and be able to support the good work that Breadwinners is doing.
Hope
so just a couple more little follow-on questions. Basically, how did Breadwinners come to International House? Because obviously Three Spaces, the sort of hub where a lot of these organisations meet and greet. Do you know what the Breadwinners journey was to International House?
Yeah, do you know what? So my CEO, Martin, I think this is the third time we've brought him on now. but as we should. He is dating. He's married to his wife Layla, who is part of another refugee organisation called Compass Collective.
Oh yes.
So when Compass Collective were already on the 6th floor, through Layla, I think Martin heard about this space.
Right.
And so and Leah and Mari, the amazing CEOs of Compass, I guess
Right.
they're the CEOs, were also friends of his, and I think they just suggested come,
Fantastic.
try out here, and so he did. So that was before I got to it, so it was well before 2022 that Breadwinners came to this building, but I'm not sure what year they started being here.
It is a magnet for organisations, which is wonderful. And just one final little thing, it's more of a fun personal question. So obviously we're based in Brixton. Is there anything in the local area that you would recommend or you would like to tell people about, or something you're prepared to share and not gatekeep?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love Brixton so much. So, okay, things that are too well known. Oh, okay. Oh, that's kind of annoying. Basically, obviously Brockwell Lido, so well known, but
Still fabulous.
still fabulous, and feels like you're on holiday if you're like lying in the Lido on some of the wooden bits, and you can get the pizza from 400 Rabbits.
Could be in Naples.
Literally, honestly, I'm in Marbella, I think. Costa del Brixton. But absolutely love Brockwell Lido. Cold Harbour Blue is a fantastic independent cinema. That's brilliant. Also, this is Herne Hill, but the coffee shop, Macacia and Coffee, does such good like Earl Grey matches, strawberry matches with like a syrup that they make themselves.
Well, that sounds nice.
Yeah, like authentic syrup, not like fake syrup. Do you know what I mean? So I'd recommend the Earl Grey iced matcha from Macacia and Coffee.
Worth a walk across the park. Then.
Yeah, worth the dip into Herne Hill. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey and telling us more about Breadwinners and for coming to see us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josie.